Welcome back for Unit 2 of our American History 1 course here at Waldorf University Online. And this week we keep moving into the history of the early republic. Well, we're not quite to the early republic yet, but we're heading in that direction. So this week we have two major things to accomplish. First, discussion board and assessment. So make sure we're setting aside time to do both of those, getting that Unit 2 study guide, make sure you're getting your reading done, and then hop on over to the discussion board where your first post responding to the question will be due again Saturday at 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time, and then your response to a classmate due Tuesday at 11:59 p.m. CST. And so this week, our discussion question is going to take you on a little bit of a journey. So the prompt this week talks about, even though the famous physicist Stephen Hawking theorizes that it's almost impossible to travel back in time, let's, just for a moment, imagine that the impossible is possible. So imagine that you're a time traveler, and on your current trip, you traveled to the North American colonies during the years of early exploration, settlement, and colonization. So this is the time period we're looking at, 1492 to 1699, and we're going to look at visiting somewhere in here. So you'll get a lot of good examples out of the text. Basically what most students do is they choose whatever they find most interesting in the text and then talk about visiting there. So you've got to answer where in the colonies and when you go. So you've got to pick one and then tell us. So we want you to also talk about a few different things from the trip. And there's 5 different things listed in the prompt. So where specifically and when did you travel? Be specific with this. You want to make sure that you're taking a specific year if possible, or at least like a decade. You want to be as specific as possible as you put this together and make the assignment easier. So why did you choose to travel to this location and time? Why or kind of what about the trip most intrigued you? What was interesting about that as you went back on your trip in time? And then what was the most challenging aspect of the trip? And then finally, the last thing it wants you to talk about is what was the most important lesson you learned and how can we apply it to today? So make sure you're answering all the parts of the question, make sure you're getting that put together, and then respond to your classmates along that schedule. Make sure you're getting good quality driven into that discussion board in a meaningful way. Your assessment has a bunch of different parts. There's some matching parts, and there's also some multiple choice parts. So make sure that as you get through that, a lot of students will like to look at those, have them open, and then work on it alongside the text as you're going through. I think that can be a really good strategy. I've seen a lot of students that like to read all the questions first, then get in the textbook, and then all of a sudden you come up and you're like, oh, Massachusetts Bay Colony, I know that was a question. Go find that question, answer it, makes it a little bit easier. You can approach it however you want. That's maybe how I would do it if I was going to take the assessment. Once you get that done, your score will show up and you'll be done with week 2. So if you got questions on any of this stuff, make sure you're reaching out. Otherwise, put your best foot forward and good luck this week.